My story happened when I was in college, and a modeling agent said that he could jumpstart my modeling career. 6 weeks later, I found myself in the pit of human trafficking.
I grew up in a very domestic, violent, alcoholic home, and so my stepfather would beat on my mother, force her to have sex and things like that. And so it definitely took a toll on my emotional behavior and the way that I looked at love, the way that abuse played a part in what I thought was affection.
I got forced into human sex trafficking when I was 18. It started when I met this guy shortly after I graduated. He told me he was going to be my boyfriend. 5 months later, he put a gun in my back and told me I was going to make money for him.
I grew up around a time when pimping and prostitution was actually looked at as a cool thing. We didn't see too much hope for ourselves. We didn't see too much hope for our communities. And what we went into was pretty much an epidemic that kind of spread like wildfire across our city.
I am about to see my daughter, who is 14, for the first time in 3 weeks. And she ran away to Mexico with this guy who promised her everything under the world. You know, you get your hair done, your nails done, and I'm gonna take care of you and we're gonna make money. And ultimately at the end of it, they end up being sex trafficked.
Thought he was gonna be a friend, didn't know he was a pimp. And it just kind of spiraled out of control from there.
After a few months in that lifestyle, I started to believe that I was a worthless piece of property and that I belonged in that situation and that there was no hope for escape.
There's all these stories here. I mean, they're everywhere. I remember him being apologetic, like I'm sorry. But I just paid this money and I just realized by looking in your eyes how young you are, but I paid this money already to this pimp, so.
I ended up getting into the lifestyle due to being introduced by a friend, what he called here in San Diego befriending. She told me she would have to sell me. And that was my first introduction to what prostitution was really all about.
She's tough, and I know that she's going to be able to get through this, but
I felt ashamed. I felt like it was my fault. I felt dirty. I felt like no one loved me. I felt like I didn't love myself. I felt like at some points I wanted to kill myself just to get away from everything. And I actually carried on actions to try and kill myself.
What is a child to do that since the age 13 has known nothing but being abused in hotel after hotel, sold like a slice of pizza? What is that child to do when they grow up? And now they've been recovered, they've been rescued, but they have no hope, no dreams, because everything has been demolished by the traffickers and abusers.
I needed to take my life experiences of being on the streets. I needed to take my life experiences of thinking that the only thing for me was death or prison. Even by 12 years old, that's all I thought. I thought death. I never thought I'd make it to 16. 18 was a huge surprise.
Oftentimes that question's asked, what do you want to be when you grow up? But how can a person really ask that if they don't even know what options they have? If the only options they have are what's inside that box. And I grew up in that box, and in that box you see drug dealing, you see prostitution, you see illegal activity, you see broken homes. That's the box I grew up in. So for me to say what I want to be when I grow up and all I know is what's inside that box, I'm going to do what's inside that box.
One of the things that the Lynch Foundation is doing is supporting programs that help mitigate this trauma, that help our victims rebuild their lives and learn how to live in a healthy way, to understand their own value, and to detach themselves from those chains of abuse.
Need to do an education in the schools. We need to go after runaways, where you have 20% of the people that are runaways end up in the hands of these guys in a very short order.
she was going through counseling and doing really good things, and she was about to start school again because she dropped out at the beginning of the year. And boom, 2 days later, she's gone without a trace.
Mostly the parents are in a panic stage and they're waiting for something to happen. So now the family is at a standstill. They have to go find their child on their own, and most people don't.
I'm so grateful for the Saving in America, because without them, I wouldn't be where I'm at today.
Saved in America is a non-profit charity organization that combines the volunteer work of former Navy SEALs and former police officers who have become licensed, insured private investigators to recover missing and runaway children before sex traffickers can exploit them.
We also, of course, need to have victim services. So you have there are many ways that we can try to come after this. Prevention, of course, if they say an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure, here it's worth about a ton, because a girl that has been trafficked will never be the same.
You know, I tried leaving the life several times. I tried leaving it about 5 to 6 times, only each time I came back home, I got back into it. I thought it was natural. I thought it was normal, I guess, you know, as I come to figure out that it is normal for a girl to go back into it 7 times.
The level of their trauma and their level of their emotional state is so low that it takes a lot of work to rebuild it.
What I love most about Ending the Game is the empowerment. These are leaders, these are strong women and men, and it's really just a blessing to help be a part of somebody's journey to becoming their best selves.
I want the community to know, from having looked in these young girls' and women's eyes, that there really are kids. These are not somebody else's kids. They're our community's kids. They can be anybody's daughter that is trapped and deceived and psychologically manipulated. So it is on us, the entire community, the business community, the law enforcement community, to come around these victims and to care, to look deep and to look at everything that you can offer, your talents, your ability to educate, to provide a business opportunity, to grow their talent, to give them a chance in life, a chance that they never had, to really understand how much they're worth, how much they matter to us as a community.
I want to have kids. I want to be married. I want someone to love me. I'm still looking for someone to love me unconditionally. But, you know, and I just, you know, I want to be a chef, and I want to cook, and be a beautiful, striving person.